Hello, this is Sasha. Welcome to my podcast. Hope you're having a great day. Today, I want to talk about why we still work from 9 to 5, and more importantly, what could come next. I was actually in the cab when I wrote this, watching the city pass by, and this thought just hit me. The world has changed so much, so fast. The tools, the way we work, even the places we work from. We're no longer standing on factory lines. Most of us are behind laptops, working from cafes and homes, and yet the one thing that hasn't evolved much is the idea of working hours. It feels like we're locked in an old rhythm, a rhythm that belongs to industrial age. 9 to 5 feels so normal that most of us never stop to ask why. But if you trace it back, it takes you straight to the 19th century, the age of industrial revolution. Back then, people worked 12, even 14 hours a day in the factories. A machine started setting the rhythm and humans just had to follow. Life and labor blurred together until someone finally said, let's divide the day into 3 parts. 8 hours for work, 8 hours for rest, and 8 hours for ourselves. And that's where the 8-hour workday came from. But now, our work is different, We think, create, collaborate, solve problems. We do not just repeat motions. And yet, our measure of life, our measure of work is still time, not impact. The clock, not the rhythm of our own focus. I do wake up early. I wake up between 5 to 7 in the morning, and I like to do my stuff before work, but my best energy hits right before lunch, maybe until around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So I got curious. Is everyone's rhythm like that? Turns out most people hit peak focus about 2 hours after waking up, and that high lasts 2 to 3 hours. So roughly from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is when many of us are most alert, which means the 9 a.m. start was designed more for the system's rhythm than the human rhythm. That might be why countries are now experimenting with shorter or smarter work. Sweden tried a 6-hour workday at a nursing home. Same pay, fewer hours. The results? Less fatigue, fewer absences, better care. People even said they still had energy after work, but the program ended because costs went up. The system saw expense, not health, which kind of is understandable but ironic at the same time, right? Microsoft tested a 4-day week, every Friday off, fully paid. They cut meetings to 30 minutes max and limited attendance. Productivity rose about 40%, electricity use dropped over 20%, and printing costs went down a lot. The lesson wasn't less time makes people lazy, but less time removes the waste. Iceland ran another big test from 2015 to 2019. 2,500 public employees. The country reduced their week from 40 hours to around 35 hours. Stress fell, satisfaction rose, and after the trials, more than 80% of the workers gained the right to shorter hours. So again, working less didn't mean producing less. It often meant working better. My own belief, I feel like 5 focus hours a day is ideal. That's enough to do deep work. After that, you can fill the rest with communication, organization, lighter tasks. So I think 6-hour days or 4-day weeks make sense to me. They fit the way we actually function now. But I'm not saying that we need to change overnight. It's more like an invitation to think. Why do we still work this way? Is this rhythm truly ours or just inherited? And if we were to change it, where would we even begin? Following that question far enough, it led me to trust. Flexible or remote work only functions when there's trust. In Denmark or the Netherlands, the foundation is so strong that people leave work at 5 and nobody blinks. Staying late isn't a badge of dedication. Finishing on time is just more normal there. They work fewer hours, about 1,400 hours a year, yet they show high productivity and life satisfaction. This works because trust runs deep. In contrast, many of us still equate visible effort with real effort. We trust full chairs more than full minds. That's why even flexible systems often collapse into new form of surveillance. And to change that, we have to redesign how we define results. That's why companies like Google or Netflix use OKRs, which means objectives and key results. When everyone can see what's being done, why, and how far along it is, you don't need time as proof of sincerity. Transparency becomes a currency of trust. And I like to pair that with small daily rituals. Like, say, a 3-minute voice note at the end of the day, what I did today, what I'll do tomorrow, where I'm stuck. It's not a report to your boss. It's more like a rhythm check with your team. Because autonomy isn't the same as absence. Real autonomy, I think, is self-regulation. In a book called Deep Work, it says, focus is the new IQ. The game now isn't about how long you sit, it's about how deeply you dive. Human focus runs roughly about 90-minute cycles, followed by 20 minutes recovery. To make flexible work succeed, each of us has to learn our own wave. Know when your energy peaks, plan your 90 minutes focus blocks, protect your recovery time, because freedom without rhythm isn't autonomy. It's chaos. True freedom is a routine you design yourself. And recovery can be part of the system too. Some European countries now have a right to disconnect, a legal protection against after-hours messages from your boss. It's not just about comfort, it's about protecting recovery energy. If we fly under the flag of autonomy, we need the sail of restoration too. Then comes the art of boundaries. Remote work actually blur the lines between home, work, chat, and email. So we draw the time boundaries instead of spatial ones. And tiny rituals could help, such as don't open your email until you make your morning coffee, mute notification during focus blocks, take 10 minutes walk to close your day, or something like that. And that is not a separation, it's circulation. Not balance, but rhythm. I actually prefer the phrase work-life rhythm over work-life balance because balance feels static when rhythm feels alive. So what do we do next? I see two main paths. First, shorten time. Second, adjusting rhythm. So to talk about shorten time, maybe pilot 6-hour days or 4 days week, which is 32 hours in total. Second path is to adjust rhythm, like keep the 8-hour frame if you must, but make it flexible. Use focus blocks, set a core time, measure progress through OKRs or weekly goals, because what matters isn't attendance, it's visibility of progress. Of course, not every industry fits the same mold. Customer facing, 24/7 or shifted-based work needs different engineering. So the real question isn't how do we work less? It's how do we design the rhythm of our work? And if I had to distill everything into one line, it would be this. We're not trying to change how we work. We're trying to rediscover what it feels like to be alive while we work. Not for efficiency, but for humanity. Not for more hours, but for deeper focus. Before systems, there has to be rhythm. Before supervision, there has to be trust. Before separation, there has to be circulation. Well, that's everything I wanted to share today. My best rhythm happens from 10 a.m. to like 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. I have thought about it, reflected, and that's what I discovered. Now it's your turn. What about you? When's your best time to focus? I hope you find your rhythm. I hope you'll find your own way and carry the story forward. Thank you for listening today, and I'll see you in my next podcast. Bye!